Sometimes, as an artist, you need to make something just because you feel inspired to make it, not because it's popular or you think it's what people want, but just because it brings you joy. Recently, I've been reading some of the myths and legends of the place where I live and learning about the fair folk of Wales known as a tylwyth teg. This initially led me to create some pen and ink illustrations, and then I started to get curious. What would my button-eyed dolls look like as fair folk? How would they look with pointy elf-like ears? I decided there was only one way to find out. I wanted this doll to have a very foresty, nature-based colour scheme, so I decided on some greens and yellows with some bronze beads for the joints. I thought about creating a new leg and foot shape and making more pointed feet, but as I already updated this template quite recently, and I do really like the chunky rounded foot, I decided to leave them as they are. I did make a new template for the ears though. Most of the ears I've made before have been for things like cats and werewolves, so they were just a basic triangle shape. These need to curve upwards like a human ear, so it took a bit of trial and error to get the shape right. I'll come back to those in a little while. First, I need to bead-joint the limbs. I won't go into too much detail about the jointing process in this video. I will put a link at the top of the screen though to a video where I demonstrate the 3 jointing methods I use most in doll making. If you're looking for more practical advice, that one's well worth a watch. Fixing the ears to the sides of the head should, in theory, be quite simple. It's just a matter of folding the open edge in, then ladder stitching all the way around. I do want them to be angled towards the back though, so they're not sticking straight out to the sides. So I'm stitching a little bit further in at the back, so it kind of pulls the ear backwards. I've mixed a green shade in acrylic paint for the boots with a little bit of fabric medium for flexibility. This looks quite bright, but I know this paint darkens as it dries, so it should dry to a nice deep forest green. If it's still too bright when it dries, I can always darken it a bit and give it another coat. I've always painted the laces on the boots before, but I wanted to try something a bit different. I've marked out where the eyelets would be with a needle, and I'm stitching through them with some upholstery thread. After momentarily forgetting how laces work, I'm actually finding this way a lot easier than painting them. I think those look pretty cute. I've tried out a few different mediums in the past for shading around the eyes. These days I prefer to use a high pigment coloured pencil. My favourite is the Derwent Coloursoft range. The colours are really opaque and they're nice and soft, so they blend well on fabric. The whole range is vegan friendly too, so I don't need to worry about animal derived pigments. I will leave a link to those in the description. I'm using obsidian green and black for this one, and blending the shading with a colourless blending pencil. If you saw my mermaid doll video, you might remember this lace. I had a scrap left over and it's just enough to make a skirt. The colour is a very rich sea green. It might look a bit more blue on camera, but in real life, against all the other fabrics, it looks like the colour of pine needles. One of these days I might shock everyone and make a doll without button eyes, but not today. I can paint eyes, but whenever I've made dolls with painted eyes in the past, they haven't actually been that popular. People seem to like the button-eyed faces, so that's what I tend to stick with. I think sometimes artists can complicate things a bit too much. Art doesn't have to be realistic or complicated to resonate with people. A sparse face with minimal features can often feel more relatable because your brain kind of fills in the gaps and projects the expression onto it that you want to see. I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I get so many comments saying, "Oh, she looks so sad or gentle, or she has a cheeky smile," when the features that are there are quite neutral. I find it really interesting the way different people interpret my work differently. I want to create a kind of messy mullet for the hair, long at the back and shorter and spiky on top. As usual, I'm needle felting it all in with the Clover pen style tool and 3 38 gauge needles. The yarn is 100% acrylic from the Signet Seriously Chunky range. If you're enjoying watching this little one come together, please do hit the like button and let me know. You can also subscribe if you like, so you don't miss the next one. Now she just needs a really good trim, then she's ready to bring a little bit of magic to the Welsh woodland. I've named this little one Odette Applepip. If you'd like to learn more about how I construct my dolls and the jointing methods I use, check out the video on screen now, and I'll see you next time. Bye!